The American Marksman transcends any one discipline of shooting. It's actually a fundamental for why I do this show. There are core skills at close range, just like long range, that need to be trained, rehearsed, and developed.
A little low. Got it. So try and relax that firing hand a little bit and let your support hand do most of the recoil control.
So in the pursuit of being better, I teamed up with Sanctum 1791 and our friends at Armasight to head down and get a little bit of training with both a USPSA Grandmaster and with a Green Beret. Sanctum 1791 is a sprawling compound in North Carolina that has everything from tactical bays like the 200-yard range you're going to see a lot of footage from, all the way to what looks like a golf course. It's actually sporting clays, and we even got the chance to do that at night, but I'll come back to that.
Cool.
He is shameless. Like, usually they sneak up a lot lower in the water.
That's cool. What's his name? Did you name it?
We named him Clay.
Clay.
Yep.
Right. 1791 has something like 30 different courses that are available. Everything from tactical carbine to pistol to sporting clays and survival classes. One of the primary reasons I wanted to head down to Sanctum 1791 is that my focus has been on so much long range that I really needed to start honing, or at least returning to hone, some of those skills with a handgun. That's where Tanner comes in. Tanner is a USPSA Grandmaster and is actually, if I recall correctly, one of the youngest USPSA Grandmasters. He's also an instructor at Sanctum 1791. More specific about the fundamentals of marksmanship though, as is the purpose of this show, one of the things that I really need to work on is speed. I can shoot very well, but what I need to learn better is how to shoot fast and accurately. That's what Tanner focused on.
So let's see your grip first. Let's just start with dry fire and see how your grip is. All right, cool, so there's not much to change. Boom, wow, this is gonna be an easy day. Right,
Don't
so
worry, I'm gonna
just wait, just give it a little bit, and we'll see how much I piss you off.
As you guys already know, I'm assuming, like staying target focused.
Okay.
You guys stay target focused, or do you?
I have no idea what that means.
Okay, cool. Right, so go ahead and aim in on the target. And I'm just gonna block this. Does this really fuck with your eyes now?
No, not really.
Right, so most likely you're already target focused, right? So you're just driving your eyes to the target.
Yep.
And you're letting the dot do its own thing, which is gonna make it a lot easier for that dot to return back. But what we can start doing is evaluating our actual stance and structure behind the gun. So if we drive our eyes to, like, let's say this A box, and we just touch off one and seeing where that dot returns back to, whether or not that drives down or if it returns a little high.
Or you want me to shoot now?
Yep, just fire one round and we'll see where that dot returns back to.
Little high and left.
I'm guessing, well, because I can see your front sight, it's looking like your dot's going boom and it's staying here and then you're bringing it back down.
Okay.
So what you want the gun to do is return back right to where it started. Right, and you're gonna get that return from activating your lats a little bit and having a little bit of a downward pressure. So like if you aim in, right, and I start snapping the bottom of your gun, then you can see as you start activating your lats, your gun's gonna snap back to where it started.
Rather than preach to me some of those basic fundamentals, what he had me do first is essentially print rounds on paper. From there, he knew those key points that he needed to focus on to make me a little bit better. And by the end of the day, training with a USPSA Grandmaster, I was feeling pretty confident running and gunning with my Shadow Systems, which is the same gun that I carry just about every day.
Right, so you're starting to see a lot of your bolt gun stuff transition to your pistol just because you're a big fan of pinning your trigger to the rear. So if you reset your trigger while the gun's cycling, then now, so if you watch my trigger, right? If I reset the gun as the gun's cycling, I can then prep the trigger, and all I'm waiting for is enough sight to come back to the target.
Jesus, look at the grip on that damn thing. That's
I'm ashamed.
That's embarrassing.
Watching him shoot, I'm like, this man is a machine.
So I'm used to waiting for my reset.
Right, so yeah, when you're waiting for your reset, your gun, or like you are waiting on the gun to be able to fire. Whereas if you reset the gun beforehand, then now all you're waiting on is enough visual confirmation to touch off the trigger.
Okay.
Do we both see that our sights are returning back to roughly where it started?
Yep.
A little better.
Right, so now we can start doing like 2 rounds at a time to actually evaluate if we're prepping our trigger on the way back and that the gun's actually returning back. So right, so drive out to the target.
Jesus.
Right, so go ahead and holster real quick and we'll talk about this, right?
Yep.
So if you notice, like your first shot's going where you want it to, and then your second shot is diving it down, right? So it's either you're pushing into the gun, or it could be your recoil spring, which I don't think it's gonna be your recoil spring. It might just be you overcorrecting, right? So if you think about controlling recoil with your eyes versus your body, like just letting your structure hold on to the gun, then wherever you drive your eyes to, the dot's gonna just go to. It's kind of like driving, right? When you're driving, you're gonna look at where you wanna go, and you're just gonna go there. Okay. So if we just drive our eyes to the spot that we want those rounds to go, and then whenever we get enough red, then we're just gonna squeeze the round off.
He basically just said will it into existence the way he does.
One of the narratives I see quite a bit is that training for USPSA or other competition styles doesn't really translate to something like Special Forces training or military style training. In fact, between those two things, many Special Forces soldiers and shooters actually already compete in USPSA, because what it does is it reinforces the fundamentals of just basically shooting. That's where Doug from Armasight comes into play. Doug is an 18 Charlie, and at one point in time from 2011 to 2013 was the instructor for the Charlie course. He instructed Green Berets on how to be Green Berets. You see, Doug's focus is a little bit more on intermediate carbine work. Those distances around 200 to 400 meters, and we're starting to talk my language. We're starting to get a little bit closer to the long range stuff that I'm a little bit more familiar with. Doug and I had quite a few conversations about the fundamental necessity of being able to shoot, and being able to shoot fast and accurately. Because when it comes time for a Green Beret to train for those missions that a Green Beret takes part in, those skills have to be core skills that you don't even have to think about. A Green Beret's training typically introduces something along the lines of duress or stress. And those are the things that Doug wanted to focus on in the training that he set aside for us. Turns out he came up with a little bit of a competition, and it sucked.
You're gonna listen to music during this?
Yeah.
Damn, dog.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be like
Hate and
Miley,
Rage,
dude.
Viking death metal,
No,
Miley Cyrus.
Party in the USA.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
Wrecking Ball actually came in like it while I'm wheezing on my way down.
Big Girls Don't Cry. I set this up because, from my perspective, medium distance carbine engagement is like the most valuable skill that we can have in our line of work. I also think that muscular endurance and cardiovascular capability are also super important. So I like to see how we shoot under stress. We're gonna shoot at a 200 meter steel for positive feedback. And then we're gonna run to the 200 meter target and we're gonna run back. And then we're gonna engage a 100 meter target with 10 rounds on paper. Then we're gonna run to the 100 meter target and then we're gonna run back to the barrier. Or we're gonna shoot the 75 meter target and we're gonna take a sandbag to the 75 meter target and back. And then we're going to engage the 50 meter steel and then we're gonna run to the 50 meter steel and back. And then we're gonna finish with one shot on the 200 meter steel. The timer stops when you hit the 200 meter steel.
Have you considered adding any running to this exercise?
It's only a little bit. It's like, it's a click, you know? Like, we're running a click. Who cares?
Oh, okay.
It's nothing.
All right, you're gonna go first though, right?
Yeah, dude, 205 pounds of car crushing power ready to go.
I got 185 pounds.
See, it's gonna be easier for you.
Very slow. That's gonna follow up.
So
Okay.
I just, you remember, keep a pace that you can maintain.
Fuck, this sucks. Fuck you, Doug. Got it. My calf's locked up. That sucks. Ah! Got it. Sorry, brother.
Where it really starts to get interesting is how those things, those fundamentals of shooting and shooting under duress, come together when it comes to night vision shooting or shooting in low light conditions. What you have to be very, very sound with is the fundamentals and being prepared to leverage those fundamentals when you take away a sense, or at least limit one, such as, once again, low light.
My lamb's good.
My background with night vision shooting is actually pretty minimal. I was issued a pair of PVS 7s. If you don't know what those are, just imagine you were looking through a kaleidoscope that's been kicked down a hallway and beaten with a bat. It's next to impossible to be able to actually see through those things, and I ended up having to do night driver's courses with them at one point in time. Now, although I was issued those PVS 7s, I actually didn't spend a lot of time shooting through them. So shooting under night vision is something that I don't have a ton of experience with.
Literally everything that we're doing under nods is going to be completely
Yeah, I get it.
unseen to the consumer.
Armasight provided a multitude of night vision capable devices for us to use. Primarily the ones I was using were BNVDs. Now I do have my own night vision goggles. They're a pair that I bought for competition. I will say that these BNVDs are above and beyond more capable than the ones that I have though. I've also worked a little bit under thermals, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert in that either. All of these skills are things that I need to understand because over the course of time here at American Marksman, we're gonna do things like hunts. I have hunted under thermals, but it was the only time I've ever done so. There's a video on that coming up soon. But when we go out into the wild on additional hunts, having some professional instruction from folks like Tanner and folks like Doug is gonna be critically important for me to continue to pursue what it means to be a marksman. There are all sorts of fundamental skills when it comes to night vision shooting, things like passive versus active aiming. Those are the things that I'm still trying to set my rifle up for and get better behind my rifle when it comes to actually employing those techniques.
We have night vision most specifically to maneuver to a target. Now we can engage using night vision and IR lasers, and we can passively engage with a red dot set to a really low setting. Right now we're doing visible lasers so that the camera can see what we are shooting at. So like if I decide to engage here and it's like I'm hitting the target, but if I switch to IR, you can't see this, but I'm still gonna hit the target.
Knowing when to employ passive aiming versus active aiming can be absolutely necessary in a battlefield like we have now. You see, active aiming is the active use of illumination devices. I've got two of them on my rifle here. I've got a HoloSun LS221 laser and a Surefire 340 Vampire. The Vampire means that it has IR flood capability. Active aiming means that I'm employing those illumination devices in pursuit of identifying my target or in marking my target. Passive aiming is a little bit different. It's essentially just using the reticle without any illumination of the target using illumination devices.
So like, don't get sucked into spending infinite money on lasers just because the cool guys use it. You can get the same job, hold a zero, and have a great time with a low cost laser aiming module.
I have my night vision rifle set up in a way that allows me to still see through my optic while also wearing night vision. I'll go into depth on exactly how I have this gun set up and why with each of the parts that go on it in a later video. That one will be exclusive to Pepperbox.
It's pitch black out here. Yeah. You can't see anything. There's zero illumination on the range, and we're engaging targets out to 200 consistently with very little effort. And obviously, Click and Clack over here talking our asses off are gonna get shot, but... Doug, where is he? I don't know, let me put the laser on him. Like...
Where things get a little bit silly was that we tried to use some of these technologies, like the BNVDs, to shoot sporting clays. That was way harder than it looks. I've spent a lot of time with thermals over the last year or so. As a hunter though, one of the things that I found on that hog hunt was that my thermal devices were infinitely better at identifying potential targets for me to shoot at. And these arm sights have capabilities such as onboard recording without the need for me to use an SD card that make it really easy for me to capture those hunts, something that I'll be doing even more of in the future as we go on those trips. I took these ones specifically, the collector and the contractor, right up there, to a nondescript event that I have to go to once a year for 2 weeks wearing green. There were some nondescript employees of the United States Department of War that helped me better understand some of the capabilities of this equipment. This is especially important for me because as this technology becomes more and more available, I need to better understand where it fits into all the different disciplines of shooting that I do, whether it's a hunt, target shooting, or otherwise. Thermal is the technology of the future. Thermal's integration into each of those disciplines is really what I'm examining here though. No matter what type of shooting it is you're doing, there's going to be technology, skills, people, and organizations that can help you improve on that. That's what we're focused on here, technology. I mentioned this earlier, but one of the misconceptions that I continue to see is that training for things like USPSA does not have cross-applicability to something like military-style training. The more people that you meet in the professional shooting space, and the more time you spend with shooters in the United States military, you'll better understand that they actually complement each other very much. One being the practical application of a very core skill of being a marksman. Another being the introduction of stress or duress in order to be a marksman under austere circumstances. I'd like to thank Sanctum and I'd like to thank Armasight for being a part of this trip for us. They provided both a venue and technology for me to train on so that I can leverage my own technology that I have in a little bit better of a capacity. Each incremental improvement that I make every day lends me closer and closer to what it is to be a marksman. Thanks very much for watching this episode of American Marksman. These are tabletops that are typically exclusive to Pepperbox. It gives me a chance to do things, to work on guns, to talk about things that YouTube typically doesn't allow me to do. Now we're publishing this one out in the open so you can better understand the types of stuff you're gonna see from us exclusive to Pepperbox. There's always gonna be long form content available on YouTube, on X, even on Funker 530 and the National Association for Gun Rights platforms. But Pepperbox is where we're gonna put some of our most in-depth stuff. I do recommend you guys take a look at it. It's a free trial if you wanna just give it a shot. Check us out. Go be great.